So, some of you may know Peter Mckinnon on YouTube. He's fairly well known, does a lot of really awesome cinematography, photography tips, lifestyle vlogs. He's all around just a cool guy to watch. You may have seen a video before where he tried to Photoshop a mountain into a desert and he got a bit of flack for it. But he just recently posted a video where he got a bunch of people on Fiverr to try and Photoshop the same image and do a better job than he did. It was interesting to see the difference in the price and the quality he was getting. It ended up being that like a $25 artist did the best job. If you ask me, that artist should be definitely bumping up his prices. I've worked in the film industry as a visual effects compositor for about 5 years. I've worked with companies such as Disney, Gatorade, Pepsi. I've worked on a few Hallmark films, Netflix shows, and various commercials. What compositing is in a nutshell is taking two different elements, say like a background, foreground element, and maybe a midground element as well, and blending them all together to make sure that they seem believable in that space. Why don't we try taking the Peter Mckinnon Shadow Mountain challenge, and instead of using Photoshop, we're going to be using After Effects. That's the main flagship program that I'm used to. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, Cam, why aren't you using Nuke? You call yourself an industry standard visual effects artist. Some people just like using After Effects, okay? I am in no way knocking Nuke. Nuke is an amazing program. So After Effects is still used in the industry as a standard in certain scenarios. Today, we're going to be using After Effects. Oh, and Peter, if you're watching right now, huge fan, and this is totally not me knocking your skills. You are a very talented artist when it comes to photography, Lightroom, and I've even seen some of your After Effects stuff, and I'm really impressed. That being said, I have used After Effects for quite a long time now, and I don't want to say it, but this is kind of me showing off. All right, so we have our photo here by Gal Isayev. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Awesome photo. Love the composition. Really cool. However, we're going to add a mountain to the back of it. And not just any mountain. We're going to add this mountain. Let's bring both of our images into comp here. And we're going to just kind of block our thing out. Roto is like a super tedious thing that I personally kind of hate now. But when I first got into the industry, they made me a junior, and this was like my job every day. It was just roto, constant roto. By the way, if you're wondering what roto actually is, it is the process of cutting out an image or a person or a subject so that you can place them in front of other elements or behind other elements or whatever it may be. But you have to do that frame by frame by frame by frame. Luckily, this is just a photo, but there has been times where I've had to go frame by frame by frame by frame by frame and cut out this, whatever the subject is. And it could be like as easy as a mountain, or it could be as hard as fingers. Just think about that. Fingers move a lot in film. Okay, so it looks like we got kind of what Peter Mckinnon got. Now, one major thing that I'm noticing here is our shadows are wrong. Our lighting source is coming from over here, right around there. Yeah, right around here. So this is wrong. This doesn't work. So one way we could easily fix this is just go to our mountain layer and flip it. Bam. I just passed level 1. One of the things I noticed in that video that he posted with the Fiverr artists, one of them scaled the mountain down. And I think that is what really sold it. Because right now this doesn't really look believable. You might be able to get a mountain this big, but it feels like we're on the surface of Mars right now, because I know there's that, I think it's like I forget what. Tallest mountain on Mars. Olympus Mons. Yeah, Olympus Mons. So if we were on Mars right now, we could make this Olympus Mons. So I think what we'll do is we'll scale this mountain down. I'm liking that. That's kind of looking a lot better. However, before we move on, I'm gonna pre-comp these mountains. All right, so we're gonna call this mountains. Whoa, that's not how you spell mountains. Oh man, so like going into this, I had to search for all this material to use, the photos and all that stuff. And for some reason, my brain was like freezing up on me and I couldn't remember how to spell the word mountains. I just kept spelling it wrong over and over and over again. And finally, it was like Google came in and was like, hey, do you mean this word? It's basically Google coming in going, hey, are you an idiot? Mountains. There we go. Now that we have our mountains pre-comp, we are now going to apply some effects to it. So let's add a levels onto the mountains. And as you can see here, this is going to change the contrast or our whites and our blacks. What we're going to do now is look at the darkest points of those mountains and the darkest points of the photo of the woman and make sure that those numbers are matching. Then we know that our blacks are matching and our whites are matching. It's a very key step to making a good comp. So a tool in After Effects that's kind of useful to use is up here. Go to Info, just go up to this 3 bars here, hit HSB. Then you have your hue, your saturation, and your brightness. Brightness is the one we're going to be looking at the most here. So if we go over to say like our brightest area, which I assume is over here, it looks like we got 97%. We could check her arm here. That's kind of, her arm's actually a full 100%. So it's pretty much blown out right there. So we could just find the darkest point on her, which would be kind of right around here by her leg, which we see 4%. However, the mountains are not by her leg. They're what looks like miles behind her. So we're actually gonna take the darkest point of these trees over here, or whatever these are here, which is 44%. Cool. So over on our mountain here, we have our darkest point, which is this little guy right here. And it's around 30, I guess a 28 there too, 29, yeah, 30%, 29%, yeah, 29. So we need to bring that up. Technically speaking, these mountains are properly comped into the shot. This is what a camera sensor would see if they were to point at this shot with mountains in the background. However, I understand that these mountains are a little different color and they also have snow on them. Like, let's be real. So let's play around with the snow a little bit. See if we can get some creative ideas flowing here. All right, I'm liking that. I'm really liking that. Let's see if we can kind of help this transition here. Now, a lot of the Fiverr artists that I remember, they added like this mist into here, and I didn't really like it. But then again, I kind of see now why they were thinking that way, why they were wanting to put that in there. I'm going to use something a little different. I'm going to use what we call a light wrap, and there is a plugin out there for proper light wraps. I believe it's a Red Giant plugin, but it's part of their key suite. Amazing effect. It really sells keying. Like when you're doing a green screen and you're removing that green around them, and then you throw on like a advanced spill suppressor and your key cleaner, and you're like, yeah, I'm done. Actually, no, you throw a light wrap on there and apply the different blending effects that you can, and it really takes it from like a pretty good key to an amazing key. It's going to create this sort of like haze, or like this sort of what we call a light wraps. I think now what we're going to do is we're going to change up the cloning aspect of it, because there's a lot of repeats going on here. Just little things in the mountains, little details and stuff. So let me show you the clone stamp tool in After Effects. Kind of fun. we're gonna go into our mountain layer here. We're gonna go to our mountain over here. And we're gonna click on the, where is it here? Stamp tool. Clone stamp. Woo! All right. Now, we are going to change up some things. I'm not a fan of the sky. Kind of want to change the sky. So I think I'm going to do that. We have layers here that actually separate the sky. We have our sky on our original plate here, right? So my idea is we just bring up the plate a bit more. So we're kind of right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to remove her. I think I'm gonna call it there. I think that's a pretty good comp. So, Peter, there you go, man. You got a VFX artist to try and take on your challenge, and hopefully the internet doesn't rip me to shreds like they did with you. Honestly though, this is the process I use to comp footage, not photos. So it could be a little bit of a different process when it comes to Photoshop stuff, but more or less, this is the proper way to comp video footage. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing. Not entirely sure what the next one's gonna be, but looking forward to it. I'll see you in the next one, guys.